So what I'm hearing you say, sorry to interrupt you, but what I'm hearing you say is that Ibas basically didn't quite do any governing and didn't do any particular work in River State in the 6 months that he was put there during the state of emergency imposed by the president. And I am also hearing you say he has to be accountable for the funds that were used in that time. The question is, who is he accountable to? To the president or to the River State lawmakers? So if he was imposed on the River State government, then he's not accountable to the River State government. He's accountable to the president. Yes. I hear you, ma'am. I hear you very much. I hear you. Yes. There we go. Using the same, you, no, I mean you do. I'm using the same analogy you just used. In this case, it wasn't you that asked him to take over the house. It was your husband, shall I say, in this analogy. That so he's accountable to the husband in question that imposed him on you. But I hear you. Let's come back to Fubara. This new move, like I asked before. Now, do you think that this is going to actually strengthen, or stabilize River State? Is this going to bring progress to River State? This sacking of the commissioners in question. Do you think that it will bring peace and stability and progress to River State? And in the same vein, the question again would be, who is he appointing to take over this, and who is behind the appointment? Right. Okay. Mhm. Absolutely. Okay. Which you pay. We're now speaking about we. Mm, right. Okay. Okay, so that means that yes. Mm, Okay. Regard him as governor. Okay. Yes. Right. So from what I'm hearing, some okay, okay, picture of things. May I come in here? Sorry, ma'am. I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so now that we have brought the cat out of the bag, speaking of Nyesom Wike, because that's who we are speaking about as the man behind Fubara, leading to his election. Is I mean, we don't know exactly who he has chosen to take over these. Hello, can you hear me, sir, ma'am? Oh, she can't hear me anymore. Well, we're going to try to get her back on the line because, the conversation around Nyesom Wike, rather, and whether or not, or if he has done what he would do to hire who he has hired. Now, Siminalayi Fubara is the governor, and as soon as he became governor, we all know that, the issues started to arise. Hello, ma'am, are you there? Can you hear me now? Can you? Well, what you're gonna try to get across to her again. But now that we're speaking about Nyesom Wike being the, shall I say, godfather behind his appointment, Fubara's appointment. Hello, good man. Can you hear me, ma'am? Okay, okay. I was saying that now that we have called, got the cat out of the bag, speaking of Nyesom Wike and his age, shall I say, to make Siminalayi Fubara the man behind the governor. And then after that, because they were at loggerheads, what happened, whether they agree or deny, Siminalayi was put on suspension for 6 months. And we don't know who the people that are going to replace the commissioners and these leaders that he has just asked to leave. We don't know who they are at the moment, so we cannot speak to who is behind the choices that are going to be made. However, some have said that basically the fear is that the River State politics is dead, because as it is, Nyesom Wike, is he, upon Fubara going back, whatever the agreement is he going back to simply adhering to whatever his principal, shall I call him, has said? That is the fear. Do you think that Siminalayi Fubara coming back to his seat, is there a promise that he would do what he is supposed to do and make those choices as a governor by himself? Or is there a fear that he's going to make the choices that his principal, his godfather, aka Nyesom Wike, is instructing him? What is the pulse of River State on that matter? Oh, Yes. Yes. In River State, yeah, directly. Sorry to interrupt you. From what I hear, I take for him to bring back public trust, in him as the governor of the state as he is ascended back to the throne. Right. So I'm going back to the question. So I'm going back to that question. To interrupt you, apologies to interrupt you, but I'm going back to that question. What would it take for for River State indigents and River State residents to put that trust back in Siminalayi Fubara? Because I know it's sounding like everyone is really, you know, on shaky feet as to I'm talking about public trust now in him as he has come back to the throne. So what do you think it's going to take for him to gain back that trust with River State people? Because I want to move from this to the Electoral Reform Summit. Yes, in 1 minute, please. Right. Mhm. Okay. All right. All right. If you're just joining us, I'm speaking with a human rights activist, election observer, and former spokesperson, Ijaw Republican Assembly, in person of Anne Keo Briggs. And we've been talking about River State and the recent development with former River State Governor Rotimi Amaechi, former Minister of Education, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, political economist Professor Pat Utomi, Ambassador Nkoyo Toyo, among a lot of others. Now, Oby Ezekwesili advocated for direct funding of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, insisting that the electoral umpire must be held accountable for the funds allocated to it. She called for INEC to be given enhanced prosecutorial powers to hold politicians accountable for electoral misconduct and the need for accountability with the judiciary on election-related matters. I'm going to go from this to talk about the electoral matters. Number one, we do know that right now they need to get another head for INEC ahead of the elections that are coming. Now, the question my co-host actually asked yesterday is what I'm going to start with you. Why is it the president that chooses the INEC chairman? Mm. Right. Mm. Okay. '15. Yes. Was said to be the most credible election so far. Yes. Hmm. Some have said some have said that it should be a complete reform. Do you agree with that? That it should be a complete reform? Right. Okay. Should be done. All right. That's incredible. Okay. So let me it is. Well, the number to call is 0705 6900 927. I know that we have a few minutes to go, but please go ahead and call 0705 6900 927 or 0802 502 7711. That is 0802 502 7711. So the question now remains, what is it going to take for citizens to trust INEC, that INEC can be rebuilt, given the past failures in terms of transparency on one hand, and on the other hand, we're looking at INEC, and should they be granted prosecutorial powers, or would this risk and we'll wait for the court case. Okay. Well, as Nigeria. Okay, so I hear you, and I'm thinking maybe we should have started from the judiciary, because if the process takes so long and years on or years into this case, we are still waiting for you to decide whether or not a governor that should have started 2 years or 3 years ago should be in power, then maybe we're looking at the judiciary in a large sense. Oby Ezekwesili rather further stressed the need for accountability within the judiciary on election-related matters, proposing an automated system for assigning election cases to judges and urging the National Judicial Council to discipline erring judges. Because again, the judiciary seems to be a huge space where all of this is going wrong. But I guess we don't have as much time as I would like us to. I would have liked to delve into the judiciary and look into it square on, but time is not our friend. I want to thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. Human rights activist, election observer, and former spokesperson, Ijaw Republican Assembly, and Keel Briggs. Thank you so much. We do hope that we're going to watch the space with Fubara and see what happens and who he elects. And we do hope that this goes seamlessly and that the people's trust, back, on the same line or lane with the president, with the governor. We hope that this gets better. Thank you again for your time, madam. Thank you. And have yes. Thank you, and have a beautiful day, madam. Thank you. All right, don't go anywhere. This is Super 92.7 FM, your one family, one radio. We'll take a break. I'll see you on the other side with the Big Breakfast Game Show. Stay put. One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM. Point 7 FM.